All righty then. It's 1 o'clock EST here in Michigan. This is Second Class Citizen broadcast in the middle of the day. A little bit of different live TV going on today. I've got a whole bunch of guys in here. We're going to discuss federal law, state law, the judges. They're legislating from the bench. They're trying to undo legislation and how they abuse veterans in the system, going after disability compensation. And we're going to discuss a couple of those terms as well to make sure people are on the right track with that, because there's language that gets used that is not appropriate. So I'm going to bring everybody in now. And it looks like, who did we lose there? We lost Ray down in Texas, but we still have Brandon, Trudel, and Jacob. Or Brandon, Don, and Jacob. There's Ray Foster, who's down in Texas, but his case is up in Michigan. So, guys, thanks for coming. Where are we with this? Don, you want to lead us off? What's your give each of you give me like a 45-second recap of your mess, or a 2-minute recap. That's fine too.
So what we're doing is we're trying to get as many veterans as possible who are being shafted in the state courts, where the courts trying to take their VA disability compensation. And when we make it clear that your VA disability compensation is not pay, it is not remuneration for services. Don't let anybody consider it pay. That's why it's off limits. Right now there are 2 cases in the federal court, mine and Derek Skelchak out of Colorado at the 10th Circuit. His was already denied in the 10th Circuit, so he's filing in the Supreme Court. I've already filed in the Supreme Court as well, but both of our cases were denied. They denied our status to apply as veterans, I guess because they want the money. They didn't really state why.
How can they deny your status to apply as a veteran?
I guess only in certain circumstances they allow veterans to apply as veteran. That's waiver of the fees. So I've got to pay the fees. It's going to be a couple $1,000s for printing, and then pay the $300 some odd for processing. Doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to do it anyway because this is important, and this is going to, hopefully, if they hear it, will set a precedent for all veterans.
Dear sweet baby Jesus.
So basically, VA disability compensation is off limits to everybody, including state courts and family courts, with regard to child support and alimony. And there's a reason for that. I don't want to take up the whole 45 seconds, but I can explain that after everybody else does.
We will get there. That's Howell versus Howell, wasn't it?
Partly. Howell versus Howell was pretty much a restatement of Mansell from 1989. But that's only stating that the states can't use indemnification language if the veteran receives combat-related special compensation.
Here's Mansell up on the screen.
Yeah.
So we have links to all the stuff we're going to be talking about today. For those of you out in listener land, everything we're talking about today, I have all the links for this. I've got the documentation. If you want any of it, just let us know. Go ahead, Don. Sorry.
For more information, people can go to veteranhope.org and contact myself or Bob Terrian, our director. We're just now rebuilding the website. There's quite a bit of information on there regarding all of this. There's no workaround. The attorneys will argue all day long, but there is no workaround to the law, as much as they try. And that's why it's a struggle for all of us, because they all put out this garbage called Rose versus Rose from 1987. Which was superseded by the Veterans Judicial Review Act in 1988. But
right, it says it right here in your flyer I've got up on the screen so everybody can see that.
Yeah,
this is your organization's information right here.
Correct. And many attorneys either don't understand that, they just regurgitate the same information that's told to them by senior lawyers and just pass that on like they give a telephone, or they don't care because they're part of the corrupt system of taking veteran benefits.
What they're doing, whether they want to admit to it or not, whether they realize it or not, or whether they're doing it deliberately, what they're doing is an attempt to de-legislate something that has already been legislated. It is the law version, the legislation version of what Ray and I were talking about before the show, res judicata. This has already been decided, kids.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to redecide it according to what you want. This is a decided thing. And these courts just don't seem to care, especially at the state level. Particularly at the state level, and they just run us over. They take our money. I went through years of hell, almost 20 years ago, going through what I went through until my ex-wife politely died.
And the reason why is because veterans are easy prey. Our money is guaranteed, even during a shutdown. Even during a shutdown, our money is guaranteed, so they know they can extract it from us.
Yeah, that's Brandon, why don't you give us
by any means necessary?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Brandon, why don't you give us a quick rundown of your situation real quick?
Just quickly. So Ogama County, Michigan, and went through a divorce back in 19. Was med boarded out of the military, and obviously I got Social Security, my CRSC, which combat related service connected pay, and then my VA pay. They consolidated all three of them. And at the time, my ex-wife, she did not have a job at all. So they took all of mine, matched it up against hers, gave her basically the parenting time. I do have 50-50 joint legal physical custody of my kids, but that doesn't matter. That's a whole different thing than parenting time. So the overnights is what counts.
Mm-hmm.
So I told them, it's like, hey, listen, there's federal laws protecting this compensation. It's not pay, it's not remuneration, it's not income, period. And he just didn't want to hear it. Threw me in jail for 45 days for not giving it up. And guys, it's just been a fucking nightmare ever since. They're actually threatening to throw me in jail over Christmas. So the 16th, I have a show cause, and they're gonna try to throw me in jail. So we'll see. I got some things in the works with the federal court. I know we're gonna get into that.
You just filed that there. Yep.
Yeah. So that's pretty much where I'm at.
All right, Ray, why don't you give us your situation, Ray?
Okay, my situation, my case started back in 2007. Okay, I met Carson Tucker down in Lower Michigan. I was fighting all the way until 2014 when Carson came on board, took my case, got it out of the circus court and onto the Court of Appeals, and then went from the Court of Appeals to the Supreme Court, Michigan, won 4 times unanimously with Carson representing me. And Carson then, because the state court basically said, we know we're violating the laws, but we're not going to do anything to help Mr. Foster out. So after I won 4 times unanimously in the Supreme Court of Michigan, the lower court, the circuit court, took it and they went in my favor. They told my ex-wife, you owe him X amount of dollars, and she never paid, and it was never enforced. And now, with us not being able to do anything in the state of Michigan, we tried to take it to the Supreme Court of the United States. I paid like $2,000 some to file the paperwork and all that, and they denied it. Same thing as the guy from California. They denied it, and now her lawyer took that as an opportunity to look at it as a loss, and now it's back in the circuit
Not a
court.
loss.
Yeah, I know, but it's back in the circuit court now, and they have this against me, saying I owe her X amount of dollars. So if she ever gets the money to get a lawyer and they go fight it, then they're gonna probably try to put liens on my house and all this other stuff that they're gonna do.
Real quick for everybody out there, when the Supreme Court gets cases, they get thousands of cases a month, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a denial. That is not a no, you're wrong. What it is a declination. The Supreme Court declines to hear the case at that time because they have a fuller palette of things that they need to see first. That's all that means.
Also, I think what's going on too, I'm sorry to cut you off. Also, I think what's going on too is the Supreme Court of the United States wants these state courts to honor Hall versus Hall. They're telling them, hey, we already ruled on this similar situation. You guys need to follow the federal laws that protect these disabled vets. And they're taking that as me being denied when, like you said, all these cases are going on. I wasn't denied, but it was
declined. That's not the same thing declined. At all.
Yeah. And so that's what her lawyer put in his wording. And then my lawyer didn't show up to court. My lawyer said he never got the paperwork and didn't show up to court. So they ruled against me. So now it's back to square one. So I'm worse off now than I was 20 years ago, back in 2007.
This is insane. It looks like Jacob dropped off. I was going to have him in there. We know that he's in Montana and his connection is not exactly what we would describe as primo.
Right.
Just a quick tip, Ray. You don't have to keep moving forward to your camera because you're doing this on it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We can hear your mic just fine. We can hear your mic just fine.
So with what you were saying, Ray, so basically same thing with Don. So it can go to the Supreme Court and it can get denied for all sorts of reasons, even though it has not been heard. So basically it drops back to the circuit court and the circuit court thinks that they have jurisdiction again.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works.
Okay. Yeah, there's been Carson Tucker.
I mean, they're forgetting, the circuit court, they're forgetting that I won unanimously 4 times in the Supreme Court.
Once again, that's res judicata.
Exactly.
It's a case that has already been decided. You were going to say something, Don?
Yeah, there have been several cases. Carson Tucker has had several cases in front of the Supreme Court that have been denied. Most recently was Bill Lott. But before that, last year was Mike Yorko and Eric Martin. And Mike Yorko's attorney in Virginia, a lady named Heather Peterson, I think it's Pederson, she put on her website that because the Supreme Court denied to hear it, that's basically black letter law.
We went through this. We went through this before the show. Also, on vocabulary, they didn't deny it; they declined it. That's an important distinction. Yeah, exactly, because they have too much to do.
She's putting out information, basically stating that because the Supreme Court declined to hear it, that means that the Supreme Court agreed with the state of Virginia's illegal orders, which is
incorrect.
A lot of people think that. They think, if the Supreme Court denies to hear it, that means that they agree. No, it means that they're out of the 7,000 to 8,000 cases that apply each year. I think only a couple hundred of them get heard.
Yes, that's correct.
It doesn't mean that it just means that they don't consider it important enough to hear the case.
It's not far enough up the food chain. It doesn't make enough of a difference in overall American law. Part of the reason that they would decline something like that, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, is because it is res judicata. It has already been decided. The Supreme Court would look at something like that and say, this has already been, we've done this dance. Mm-hmm. We've done this. Congress decided on this in 1988. You cannot go after this particular form of compensation to a veteran. But these courts, they don't seem to care.
Yeah, I don't know if that really goes into res judicata, though, because res judicata is like if you sign off, you as the plaintiff or respondent, petitioner or respondent signs off on a court order, they can say, okay, you've already agreed to this, it's res judicata. But in our cases, the veteran does not have the authority to sign off on that. The attorneys and the judges put pressure on the veteran to sign off, saying we agree to indemnification, whatever. So res judicata doesn't apply there because it was never legal to begin with.
The language applies, the legal tool may not. I agree with you to an extent. I still say it's res judicata because the case law has already been decided. But when it comes to our individual cases, yes, you're correct. there isn't a res judicata there because they can't agree to something that's illegal to begin with.
And they have never, so far, nobody has decided on cases like ours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, the Rose case of 1987, you ask every attorney, you ask 150 attorneys, and 200 of them answer, say, oh, Rose versus Rose. And that's what they consider.
From 1987, and then Congress promptly stepped on that the next year.
Public Law 100-687, the Veterans Judicial Review Act, when they changed the language in Section 211 of Title 38.
I can bring that. Let's take a look at that law just for a second. I know all of us have, read this, but here's 38 Code 5305. What do we need? 5301?
5301.
Previous.
Well, actually, 511.
It would be 511.
5011?
No, 511.
511.
So 38 USC Section 511 was previously 211. In 1987,
okay, here we go.
When the Rose case was decided in 1987, at that time, the Congress did not happen to have language in there that preempted states from using veteran disability compensation.
Looks like we lost Ray.
They changed the law.
I'm back.
There you go. Stop touching things.
I had a phone call that cut me.
No, no problem. No problem.
Jacob,
sorry, Don. Go ahead.
In 1988, when they passed the VJRA, they changed the law in Section 211 to make it clear that only the Secretary has authority to make decisions regarding veteran disability compensation.
Okay. So that's what we're looking at here.
Law. They changed
511A. Yep.
They changed it because of the Rose decision.
Yep. And Congress, remember, Congress is the only one that have power to do anything with these federal laws.
Yeah.
And another thing,
they have the power of legislation.
Another thing with regard to this is, if you ask attorneys will say that a couple of the justices opined that veteran disability compensation was for the family. Well, they have no business voicing their opinions on this, and their opinions don't matter. Whether or not they thought it was for the family and not just the veteran.
It was never meant for the family. As long as that family's together, it's a law. But once you break ties, then there is no family, Right.
And some of the members of Congress also opined on that, but their opinions don't have anything to do with the law. What's written is with the law.
Exactly.
Right. But these judges have come to this conclusion, apparently about 40 years ago, that their opinions supersede legislation. We've seen it over and over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. I went through some of the same stuff with my case 20 years ago. A judge telling me that it wasn't kidnapping for my wife to kidnap my child.
Mm-hmm.
Right
there.
But it literally the definition of kidnapping is
right. Yeah. And they'll use, like, I was reading something yesterday. I don't know if Don sent it to me, but it was like this dogma of, what's there's a couple lawyers out there that wrote a couple books, Don, on this, but
we won't mention their names, but
I won't mention a name either.
Everybody knows who they are.
Some of this stuff, like I was reading, this is reward pay. VA disability is reward pay. I'm going, I didn't know.
Well, that's the retirement.
Fucking getting blown up and getting fucked up. A reward pay?
That's a reward for being blown up.
I haven't seen that.
I read it yesterday.
I've seen language like that.
So much garbage. It's not even funny.
Yeah. I've seen language like that. I've seen language like we don't actually deserve it. We got hurt on the job that we volunteered to do. We don't deserve any compensation for that. All kinds of language of that.
People will compare that to other civilian jobs where you get hurt on the job, and it's just not the same. It's not.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, like roughnecks and oil derrick guys, if they get hurt, they do get compensation.
Right.
Right.
Those guys in the hardcore jobs, yes, they do get compensation.
That's yeah. So what's
And
the
the thing-
alternative?
And the thing with my pay, me paying them or paying my ex $1,000 a month, the only reason I paid that was because I was in court in 2014, and the judge said you're going to pay your ex-wife $1,000 a month, and if you don't, we're going to sell your mom's house, because they had the title for my mom's house. Because
Listen to this.
Hang on. Ray, I want to hear this whole story, because this is the most sordid piece of ham-handed legal bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
I'll explain it. Here's what happened. My daughter was living with me. She went through a divorce back in Colorado Springs, and her ex-husband was assaulting her, and I had to get her away from that situation. So at the time, they had ordered me to come to court, and I was getting a TBI examination. I was acting as my own lawyer. So I sent the judge and the lawyer both letters saying, hey, I got this TBI examination in Denver, Colorado. I've waited 2 years to get this examination. It's very important that I go to it. If I don't go to it, it's crucial that I do, because I waited, like I said, for 2 years. And the judge basically said, if you're not here on this day, we're going to put out contempt charges, and we're going to arrest you. So time went on. Yeah. And I said, well, I got to go to this appointment. I had the head lady from the VA write him a letter and everything, and he didn't care. He said, if you're not here. So anyways, make a long story short, I took my daughter home. They found out I was home. They arrested me. They took me to jail. This was on a Saturday. And my mom didn't have $9,500 laying around to pay the failure to appear charge. So we got a bonds lady. The bonds lady wasn't even licensed or insured at the time. Didn't even know that until later. And so she bonded, and my mom had to give up the title for her house. Well, the bond lady said,
God.
as soon as you go to court, it's a failure to appear bond. As soon as you go to court, you'll get the title back for your house. Well, that didn't happen. The judge says, if you don't pay your ex-wife $1,000 a month, we're going to sell your mom's house and put you in jail. So I wasn't going to let my mom lose her house. So I, was coerced to paying $1,000 a month. I had to get back to Colorado to take care of my house and take care of my dogs. So I was paying $1,000 a month all the way from 2014 to 2021. And then finally, my mom called that bond agency, and she got the title back for her house. And the minute she called them and got the title back for her house, I said, hey, I'm not paying no more. This is enough of this. And I stopped paying, and that's when Carson, took it up to the Supreme Court, and now it's back in the circuit court again. And they got all this. Yeah.
That's
They held
criminal
my mom's
extortion.
house hostage.
They didn't have any right to hold that.
They did it.
No, I believe you. I believe every word you're saying, because I've seen similar stuff myself. I go into my own case, but we don't have 3 days.
Yeah.
I've been fighting mine since 2004, and I'm still fighting it to this day.
Yeah.
I'm still fighting parts of it to this day. So I believe every word that you're saying. This is insanity.
Because her lawyer sent a letter and said, hey, he has to pay this amount. And they said, no, he's a disabled vet. He doesn't, he's 100%. He doesn't have to pay you anything. So they got that letter from the Department of the Army saying they were in my favor. But, like I said, they use ways of keeping titles for houses. And
that's criminal extortion. Straight
that's
up.
what it is. And that's the same thing with Brandon. They're going to wait for him to come to court. And then if he doesn't agree with what they say, they're going to put bracelets on him and take him to the jail.
There's a similar case up in Oregon. Another guy up in Oregon was doing the same thing. The judge was threatening to sell his property.
Mhm.
They just start attaching everything and levying this and
Putting
it's just
liens
crazy.
on stuff. Yeah.
I remember
They don't have any right to do it either.
in your
And
case,
here's
Ray, which
what
is
happens is they know that veterans are vulnerable. They're in these positions where they're already struggling with physical and or
PTSD,
mental
TBI.
injury to
Yes.
TBIs, PTSD, whatever. And they know that most of us don't have the ability to fight.
Mhm.
So we just cave, into
The wall that they're about to encounter is enough of us have gotten fed up with it that we've started making organizations, Don, like yours and like ours.
Yeah.
Terrence Pop started ours. He's not here today. I joined up with him in 2009. I've been working with him ever since. And we're starting to get all of these stories together, and we're starting to go, you know what? It's time for us to do something. And there's a lot of us.
Enough is enough.
Here's the other thing
enough
too.
is
So
enough.
it's very adjacent to Ray's, what they did to his mom's
Mhm.
house. They basically held her house hostage unless you pay. You better pay or else.
Mhm.
Well, they did the
They
same
had-
thing to me with this. These people went and put $7,000 on my credit report to prevent me from buying a home for my family. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
I won yesterday. Won yesterday.
That's
So-
fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah,
It's
and
awesome.
and this is what's
Good for you.
happening. So we talk, when you said, Steve, this is extortion. This is beyond that.
Yes,
This is
criminal
just-
enterprise. This is just straight up criminal enterprise at this point. Brandon, talk about how they had you listed as an employee. I think they did the same thing to you too, didn't they, Ray?
No.
Or was that, I think might have been Jacob. They listed him as an employee of the VA. What did they do to you, Brandon?
Well, I went up because I was going, okay, how can they get this money? Because the VA, when they first sent these IWOs, which are these income withholding orders, they sent the first one to the VA. And the VA told them, well, go pound sand. You can't have that money. It ain't your money. So if the VA says you can't have that money, that tells you it doesn't matter. It can't be out of pocket. It can't be attached. It can't be nothing. Well,
It's not yours.
Right. So I went up to the Social Security Administration.
Yeah.
I asked him, and I have it on recording. I said, how are they garnishing this money? He goes, well, through the third quarter, they got you listed as an employee. I'm an employee of the Social Security Administration. I've never worked for them.
Hey, very quickly, we have Terrence Pop, time traveling hobgoblin and enjoyer of bumpy cake, has joined us.
I'm sorry I'm late. I was visiting my mother. She's
Hey, that's important.
she's in a rest home now, so I had to go feed her.
Terrence, do you know Brandon and Don? This is Ray Foster. Ray Foster, Terrence Pop. He founded Second Class.
How you doing?
And Redonkulas.
Ray, your camera, you have such a pronounced head.
He's an
Hey,
HD, man.
I'm trying my best to adjust this phone.
It's fine, man. It's fine. We give everybody shit here. Nobody does not get shit here.
Hey, I can take it.
So, Steve, going back to that, so that's what they did with this. So they had me down as an employee. So I called DFAS because DFAS gave up the money too for my CRSC. And Don, we were talking about.
That's how they do it. That's how they do it.
Put me.
That's falsification of federal records to put you as an employee of the Social Security Administration.
Yeah, that's some bullshit right there.
They did that with Jan Iannucci also.
Yeah.
Well, with who?
His name is Jan Iannucci. They put him as an employee of the VA. Same thing. And he's in the state of Michigan too.
I want to talk to him.
Yeah, we need listen. We need to get everyone on board because this is definitely fraud. They're stealing from us.
Oh yeah,
Pop. We were just talking about exactly that. Actually, we've got organizations that we're starting to form, and we've got enough mass now. There's so many veterans now that if we start to come together, we'll make a difference. Because they can ignore 5 of us, they can't ignore 500 of us, and there's no way they're going to ignore 5,000 of us.
So the other thing too with Don and Bob has been very adamant about all this whole thing. So these state courts, right? It's like this revolving door.
Mhm.
They want you to stay in the state. They want you to fight in the state courts.
Yes.
Because they
That is
know, they
correct.
go, well, we're just going to do what we want.
Yep.
Ding. Well, now we're going to take them to federal court. And they're going to have a federal judge say, you can't do that. So that's the route that we're taking now. It's more, Don can bring more specifics, but that's the route I'm going, and I'm filing with the federal court on tomorrow. So,
well, they've committed federal crimes in your case.
Yeah.
All of our cases.
And by all means, Brandon, include my name on that in the state of Michigan. By all means.
Yeah, well, we need to do one for you, Ray.
Only one person talk. Well, hey, look, only one person talk at a time. It turns into a worm pile.
We got it.
Okay, so yeah, Ray, we need to get you on board and file a case for you too in federal court. The problem with what they do, like we were just saying before the show started, is you cannot file in the state court because the state is not going to tell on itself. You have to go to the federal.
Yes.
And in my case, I filed. My case is in Riverside County, California. The district court here is in Riverside County, right around the corner from where one of my judges used to work. So the judges all know each other. They're all part of the same club.
Yes.
Whether it's federal court, state court, whatever, they're all part of the same club. They've all got JDs. They all play golf together.
I was about to say, all the decisions are made on the golf course. I've seen it. I worked in corporate law for years and years.
Argue like hell in the courtroom and then go play golf together.
So and even the opposing counsel, if your ex is just incredibly nasty and violating every court order possible, the attorneys go in, they look like they're fighting, they go outside, smoke a cigarette, stroke each other's egos, and come back in and say, okay, we worked it out. And
that's exactly right.
They're full of crap. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So in my case, my federal judge dismissed it based on Rooker-Feldman, which we had already told him when we filed it, the Rooker-Feldman didn't apply, but they didn't seem to care. They didn't seem to pay attention. So now it's sitting at the Ninth Circuit, and again, I'm filing in the Supreme Court. I did file in the Supreme Court, but they kicked it back, so I can refile.
It is something just occurred to me. These judges, they're not really legislating from the bench per se. They're de-legislating. They get up there and all the legislation has already been determined. Like when Congress made it clear in 1988 that you can't touch disability compensation, right? These judges get up there and they de-legislate. They basically say, I am undoing what Congress did. I don't care.
Exactly.
And this is where it goes into
is what needs to be gone after. Yep.
This is where this ties into parental alienation too, because if you're dealing with somebody who's going after your veteran benefits, that person is more than likely to engage in parental alienation. And when the judge makes a decision, there are a lot of people that don't understand the three branches of government. When the judge makes a decision, they say, see what your mom did, see what your dad did, disobey the judge.
Yep.
And that's just another tool they use.
Right. Yeah, exactly right.
To alienate you because people think the judge's decision is his right to tell you what to do.
And that's what I was talking about before the show started. I had a talk with the host here on
Steve.
Steve. Yeah, on what was going on in my case. When I was representing myself, the judge says, Mr. Foster, what do you want this court to do? And I said, Your Honor, it's very simple. I want you to follow the federal laws, USC Title 38, 5301. I've explained it to you what the law is. I want you to follow the federal laws that protect me and my benefits. I don't want no more. I don't want no less. And he basically said to me that I had an attitude and I was getting smart with him and that he's going to basically do what he wants to do.
Yep.
He said that.
Yeah, they do that kind of thing. That right there is actually an ethics violation. I've found plenty of law on the books that judges can't just sit there and call you names.
Yeah,
that's an ethics violation.
And if you're quoting actual federal law, you're not being a smartass. You're literally telling them what it is.
Exactly.
Pop.
And of course,
I'd be a smartass. I'd be like, "Hey, look, you fat fucking monkey neck piece of shit."
Right. And of course, when I got copies of the court orders and all that stuff, none of that was on there because the lady who's recording works for that judge.
The court recorders, they routinely redact. I've seen that.
You think she's going to say anything that's going to violate what that judge says? No.
That's another thing. That's another thing we can do if we get together. Hey, stand by. That's another thing we can do if we get the numbers, is we can have people in there actually, if you have to sneak a recorder in there and record it, and then you can do a side-by-side comparison. Like, here's the judge talking. Here's exactly what he said. Here's my voice on the tape. And then you're like, here's the transcript. They are not the same. And this happens all the fucking time.
All the time. They don't want cameras in the courtroom.
That's why they don't want you to do that. Yeah, you're gonna have to sneak it in there. Maybe you'll get clipped for contempt of court.
I don't care.
Fuck them. They can turn down my fucking cinnamon ring. Fuck you.
If we get enough of that, they won't be able to go after us for contempt because there's a pattern demonstrated. I had the same thing happen in my court. My ex-wife's attorney stood there and called me every name in the fucking book. And then the next day I get a notice from her that I attacked her in the courtroom. I'm like,
they want to assassinate your character when they don't want to follow the laws. Then they're going to assassinate your character and my character.
That's correct.
Brandon's character. Yeah.
Yes.
Steve, Jacob is vigilantly trying to get back in. His internet is officially down.
Speaking of Jacob,
all right. Well, first of all, hang on.
We can have him on another show.
Stand by.
All right.
Whenever you're going to get this many people coming together on the internet, Murphy is going to show up and put his penis in all of our orifices at some point. Look, we've all served in the military. We all know how this works. You line up all the vehicles the night before a big movement. You do your PMCSs, your inspections. Everything's good to go. The morning comes and something's fucked up. It happens all the time. So it is what it is.
Right.
So you're in a particularly chipper mood this afternoon, Pop.
I'm aggravated because I had to go to the rest home and get my mother's phone, which had disappeared. And I had to tell the woman who runs the whole facility, I'm like, if I have to go find this phone, every phone has its own individual ID number. I know people. If it's in a pawn shop, I will find it and I'll run it right up the fucking flagpole and find out it because it was taken from here and it will not go well. And 3 days later, oh yeah, we found your phone and some couches, even though my mom is not mobile. She's in a wheelchair. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't care. Phone is returned.
So long as it's there.
Yeah.
So long as it turned up. Yeah. Jesus, Christmas. Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get back on track here. We're rabbit holing a little bit.
We do that.
So that happened. Ray, I want to go over your cases real quick, if you don't mind. The one that I've got here is 2020.
Okay.
What happened here? What happened in this one?
Oh boy. Wow. I can't see it.
Oh, hang on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can.
You're gonna enlarge it?
I'm trying to.
I know we're all old and shit doesn't enlarge like it used to. So
everybody's got their reading glasses trying to get on it.
Yeah. Okay.
I get it.
It's cut sideways there. And of course,
it's basically Carson, like in many of the cases telling them that, I'm protected, my CRSC is protected and, and they're
right. There we go.
They're basically, saying, yeah, we understand, they agreed, and they've already said that, they can't do what they're doing, but they're doing it, I don't know how else to explain it. These judges, until their feet are put to the fire by the federal, they're going to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, because it's easy fucking money. Because most of the time,
Exactly.
We get out of the service, you're mentally, spiritually, and psychologically broken. You don't have any resources, but they can milk us for money and we can't fight back. That's why we all have to.
So not only did they hurt me, but they hurt my mom. All the way from 2014 to 2021.
Hang on.
My mom had to worry about me paying the $1,000 a month, and if she was going to have her home tomorrow. Do you know what kind of stress that put on her?
Ray, listen, I understand you're emotionally invested in this, but you got to let us finish our thoughts before you jump in. All right, man?
All right, brother.
I got it. I can see your face is like getting all red, and that vein in your forehead is pulsating because you're getting there. Do you have any beer? I think you need a beer.
I'm good, brother.
I'm gonna have to go get a beer because I'm getting mad.
Pop's just in first sergeant mode, man.
Yeah,
Pop's just in first sergeant mode.
Hey, Steve, quickly. Kyle Spencer is in Washington State going through catastrophic ordeal, just like us. He should be joining in about 3 mics.
Yeah, okay. And here's another thing that happened with me. I'm sorry for stepping on you, Ray.
No worries, brother.
In fucking court, they literally called me a murderer and an assassin, and that was totally taken out of the transcript.
Wow.
Yes, because they can't do that because it's an ethics violation, as it turns out.
Well, here's the thing. In divorce court, it's supposed to be no-fault divorce to get into divorce court, but then it's all the man's fault once you're in there. And I was just like, my ex-wife killed my fucking dog. Fucking, psychologically. I mean, do you know how devastating that was? And I brought it up in court, and they're like, well, that's just a piece of property. Now, if I would have thrown one of her shaken piss dogs into a snake pit for food, I'd be in prison.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Sorry,
just a
Ray.
piece of property.
Yes, that's exactly what they said. And that wasn't in the transcript either.
Yeah, this is why we mentioned this before, why they don't want cameras in the courtroom, why there are people trying to get cameras introduced into the courtroom in family courts, and the judges don't want them in there because they can correct what's supposed to be on the record.
Mm-hmm.
It happened to me, it happened to Derek Skelchuk, it's happened to many other people where we know what was said, and then we order the transcript, but wait a minute, where's this information that's missing?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. You said Kyle be turning up about 3 minutes or so. I don't see him there yet. What
Pop,
happened?
I want to ask you quick.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I don't know if we got to. No, I just wanted to ask. You said when we go into these courts and it's just all about the guys are just getting fucking torn down, and I mean I get it too. I think that that has a lot of influence on why men are getting destroyed. But do you think it's sex or do you think it's money driven?
It's both.
So even if a chick had the money and it was both, but
it's both.
Well, there are actually female veterans who get taken advantage of, but the majority of divorces occur
we know of one
and is the breadwinner.
Hang on. Here's the stats.
That's why I was saying the money.
85% of the time, the woman is automatically going to get custody of that child. I have literally sat in on multiple court cases just to watch, and women got custody of the kids after being convicted of 3 or 4 charges for prostitution, felony drug possession. It doesn't fucking matter. In fact, of the 15% of the time that the man does get custody of his kids, 7% of that time he got it because of default. So if you back that out, 93% of the time the woman is getting custody of those children. There needs to be in federal court some sexual discrimination against these counties because that is exactly what they're fucking doing. I mean, what is it? It's going to take 99% to 1 before somebody goes, wait a minute. This isn't fair.
Can never be the victim. It's always the woman that's the victim.
Well, here's why it works though, because generally the idea with the general public is that all these wives are June Cleaver and Harriet Nelson. And we're no longer in the 1950s, but people still have that mentality. If the attorneys could figure out a way to make men the victims and make money off the women, they would do it, but it doesn't work. So they're going to use the women. It's actually a disservice to the women for them to do that, because it keeps them down and keeps them from saying, hey, I got to sink or swim.
And here's another thing that you could easily do. Like if in certain counties, there are certain divorce lawyers that are, they like corner the market. That's all their firm does, right? You can do a FOIA request for all of the case numbers that these lawyers touch. And then you just got to go through the cases and find out how many times, abuse is brought in, all of the silver bullet automatic win shit. And then you go after these lawyers' fucking licenses. And onesie twosies is not really going to be a big thing, but if you had
we have incoming.
Stand by. If in every county, if you had 1,000 guys and they're all complaining and making ethical complaints about certain particular lawyers, they're fucked because they can't ignore that. The same thing with judges. You can literally get the FOIA request out there for all of the cases that a particular judge touched. And then you look at his campaign contributions, and then it's just a find and replace game. And once you find a case where somebody actually says, hey, he put $5,000 to my campaign, but he won a couple cases under that judge, that's a huge complaint.
Right.
And then you can go to every single person that got a bad ruling from that judge and have them file a formal complaint against that judge. And they'll ignore 10, 15, 20 of them, but they get 500 of them or more. They can't ignore that.
Right.
Yeah. Pop, check fire. Check fire, check fire. We got Spencer Fye in here. Is this Kyle?
It is.
Hey, you're from Washington State?
I am.
You have my sympathy.
Outstanding. Welcome.
Yeah. Well, it ain't much better in Michigan, buddy.
Show. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Well, welcome to the show. Why don't you give us a quick rundown of your story? We've been going through all that, been going through federal law and everything. What's going on with you? Brandon says you're getting pretty shafted.
Oh yeah, everything's done illegal. Short, sharp, and sweet as best as it can. There's a lot of details, obviously, in there. But mine started out in tribal court. I was a tribal member. I disenrolled last year of 2023.
Wow.
Because I didn't, I just said fuck that tribe. I'm sick and tired of, I'm not racist. I'm just smart. Like a lot. I'm Indian, but when your own people screw you over in court, what's the benefit? I get a better benefit for being a veteran and more head.
One of my uncles is a full-blood Chippewa. He passed some years back, but I know how big of a deal that is to dump a tribe. I get that. That's like holy shitballs. Yeah.
Yeah. It's disenrolled, and it wasn't simply for the child custody and parenting stuff. It was just overall. But it started out in tribal court. They issued orders with no due process, no notice, no anything. I didn't know about this. This woman was still staying with me from when she filed it 2018 and I didn't find out about it until June of 2021. And she had a custody order and a parenting plan that said that I was not to have contact with her or my children. And on that, she violated that order, and we had her fourth child. And so I didn't know about none of this shit until I filed for full custody when she walked out April of 2021. Jumping that far ahead, I go through tribal court, try to exhaust all means. Already had an inclination for law, so I started studying that some more, finding that stuff, and beating the tribe at their own game. But then they would just, generally what happens is that any state or any agency generally, kisses the ring of tribes because they say, oh, well, they're a sovereign nation. That's bullshit, because every state has to do a tribe or any other state just as if they're a sovereign nation, right? They're no better, no worse, no less. So that's what they did. They're just kissing blood on the tribe. So I filed in federal court for a void ab initio order, and I'm still going through that. And I just recently filed state, and there's state law and federal law backing me up. So I'm 100% correct on this stuff, but they just want to ignore all these things. But the only time I started winning was when I started representing myself and advocating myself, and then firing my attorneys. and I did 10 times better than these turds. And now I want to go, I want to be an attorney now, but simply for veterans and males first and foremost. But
you are in the right place, my friend.
So,
Keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Let me get this straight. Oh, we lost him.
Yeah.
You still there?
Yeah, I think he dropped out.
Somebody give me his contact information because Bob is up there.
I want this guy's contact information too.
We're gonna link him up with Bob because Bob's in Tacoma.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
What
we
he
can
just
work together.
said was he was pardon me for making the noises here, but it's appropriate. He was Injun enough when he was in the tribe, but the second his tribe went after him, he wasn't Injun enough.
Yeah.
The soft racism of these organizations is fucking crazy.
Well, you got to think of all the money, right? So it's federal money that's coming into these tribes. I belong to the Sault Ste. Marie Chippewa Indian tribe, so they're going to do what the feds tell them. They're going to do.
My uncle's a Sault Ste. Marie Chippewa.
Yeah, I mean, I belong to the Sioux tribe. My mom's on my mom's side, but they're the same. They are the same way. They will not bite that hand.
You're not Injun enough anymore, son. Them. Sorry. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and that's the problem when you hire these lawyers too. You know, they are, like I said, they argue like hell in the courtroom and then go play golf together. They're not going to step on that judge's toes
and play golf with the judges.
Yeah,
the same thing happened to my uncle when my aunt. He got screwed, and I remember a lot of the adults. I was a kid when this happened, going, "But don't you have like special privileges as an Indian?" And it's like, doesn't work like that, really.
Doesn't work.
There you are.
Hey,
yeah,
he fell off.
So I'm just trying to advocate for men and do all this and fight through it and give them everything that I'm learning and helping them on their cases and tell them not to give up, man. I don't want them to give up. I don't want them to quit. I've had too many friends in the past 2 years that have killed themselves over this stuff. One just more recently.
Where's this guy been for the last couple of years?
Spencer, that is our primary mission here is to stop the suicides.
Yeah. So
hang on.
With Robert Garza.
Hang on. Next week on Thursday, we're going to read into the record our 574th life saved.
Yep.
From suicide.
Right. Curiosity.
That's awesome.
Out of everybody on this panel, who has had thoughts of suicide? I have. I came very close to it.
Just once.
3 times.
Very close to putting a gun in my mouth and blowing my fucking head off until I found an organization like you guys. And the one I found was Operation Firing for Effect. And I'll tell you what, those guys pulled me out of a very dark place in my life.
Pop saved my ass twice. When all of this first came down on me in early 2004, I had a detailed plan. They were going to deploy me to Iraq with 10th Mountain. I had a detailed plan of how to walk into fire, so at least my daughter got SGLI.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally had a detailed plan of how I was going to find a way to get whacked. Didn't care how.
That's why we got to put all our knowledge together and take it to the federal court and quit messing with these state court judges.
Yes. Yeah.
The federal courts are the way to go. I mean, they're going to be able to figure this out. I mean, like I said, it's just a revolving door with the state courts. You go to the appeals court. Oh, well, the appeals court goes, oh, fuck you too. And then you go to the Supreme Court. And by the way, you're spending, I mean, Ray, how much did you spend?
I spent over $180,000
in the fucking state court.
From 2000, in the state of Michigan, from 2007 to 2020.
120,000 here. 120,000 I lost.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
the thing. That's the thing. The federal court,
all that.
The federal court is to me, it's a lot simpler than these state courts because they always try to hide behind. Once you they try to play stump the chump with you at state, and then you come up with something else, and they just ignore it. Well, now that you file it in federal, it is so black and white. It's almost in the same thing in the Marine Corps. Like, you can do this, you cannot do this. Okay, now I know my lateral limits, and I know what to do, and I'm going to go forward. But that's why I'm trying to help men do it. Like I'm helping a retired major now file his stuff downrange, and he's doing good, and it's all ADA complaints. So,
Okay.
you know.
Spencer,
So
where are
good
you
stuff.
located?
Spokane, Washington.
Spokane. Okay,
So-
you're
Yes,
east.
sir.
Because our
So one
organization,
of the-
Grunt.org, our director's in Tacoma. You
Yeah.
need to link up with us.
Yeah, I don't
Don,
care
one
wherever
of
I
the
can
things
go.
we can do. One of the things we can do as 501c is we can start filing amicus briefs with these guys.
Mhm.
An amicus
That's what-
brief is just a statement of support for the case that you have knowledge and expertise in this matter, and here is why you should support this individual.
My lawyer,
We
Carson
have the
Tucker, did
ability.
that
Yeah.
for Hall versus Hall.
Yep. We have the ability to file amicus briefs as 501cs.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if somebody wants to file an amicus brief of mine, that'd be great.
Okay.
Same
we
here.
need
You
we
have to
need
have an
attorneys to
attorney.
do that.
No, you don't,
Yeah.
Pop. You do
No.
not need an attorney to file an amicus brief.
No, it
I've
can be
seen-
filed by a
I've seen-
senator, it can be filed by the VFW.
Yep. I've seen stacks of them. Especially when you get like a big, huge corporate case with big, huge corporations, you'll get amicus briefs from like 15 senators' offices. They have people that draft this stuff. You do not need a lawyer to file an amicus brief.
All right.
Yep.
But what would really help
So
us
the-
out is if we actually had attorneys, licensed attorneys in the regiment that would assist,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
we just don't have that.
Nobody wants to do that, man.
Now, my question on this, I guess probably more of a question to you, Steve, is that I was talking to Bob about this. If somebody,
Yep.
like these two big lawyers and some of the other ones that are trying to keep this fire going against veterans, they can file amicus briefs without our consent, and it can actually hurt our cases. That can actually happen too, correct?
Yeah.
In
I'm
one case,
not
you guys
sure I'm
don't
following
should-
you here.
should look up.
So if one of these attorneys who's trying to
Hang on,
keep
Kyle.
this BS going, where they're trying to extract our benefits, wanted to throw a wrench in it, they can file an amicus brief that will hurt our case and go against our argument. And there's nothing we can do. We can't decide who's going to submit one and who's not.
They're going to do that anyway.
Right.
They're going to file amicus briefs against you anyway. That
Right, but they could
the
file
thing
one
we
on
haven't been doing
on
is
our
firing
behalf.
back.
They could file one on our behalf and make it look like they're
No, they can't.
advocating for us, but actually
No, they
screw
can't.
it up.
No,
They can't?
no, they can't.
Okay.
The amicus means a friendly thing.
Right. Well, that's what. Okay, I was talking to somebody else about that. They
Yeah.
said, yeah, they could do that, but that makes more sense because I don't want somebody.
Yeah, because you'd be the one submitting it. It's something that I write an amicus brief and I hand it to you to submit with your case. If I hand you an amicus brief that is obviously undercutting you, you drop that shit in the shredder.
That's what I would think, but I was told otherwise. So that it makes sense.
I know who I can consult. I've got because I'm a paralegal, I've got attorneys that I can actually ask about that. I have never seen what you're describing happen before. Kyle, you had something to say. What was it you were going to say?
Yeah, first and foremost, stop dealing with these state courts. Do the exhaustion that you possibly can, and then just cut it off and go file in federal. But the other thing is that I'm dialed in with a couple guys. One, his name is Sean Kohlmeyer, and if you just look him up, Sean Kohlmeyer versus the state of Washington, and he's dealing with protection orders, and right now it's sitting at the Supreme Court. And the second one is that there's this Troxel 2 brief that we put together by a guy named Daniel Sturdivant, and he's some genius guy that's dealing with this stuff too. But if one of you guys send me an email, I'll send it to you so you can disperse it and read through it at your leisure, and it'll give you a good background. And it's based primarily on constitutionalizing family law, the Madisonian Project, and Troxel 2.
Is that Troxel v. Granville?
So,
Is that the one-
Kyle, we're going to want
Yeah,
all of
it's
this information. We're going to ask you to send that information to us. But the case you're talking about, Sean Kohlmeyer, is that Sean Kohlmeyer versus Isabel Kohlmeyer?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, and it's
Okay.
he did a motion.
I found it right away.
Yep. And so it's sitting right there, and so we're just waiting. And I got a bunch of men that are dialed in with it too. So we're fighting all over here in Washington.
Also, if you
After
wanna-
we're done here, I'd like to gather up all of this information. I'd like to get your contact information and start coordinating.
Yeah, we need to
Absolutely,
work
man.
together on this because we've already got stuff in motion, and I've got a case in the federal court right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle, I like
'cause
how you said how everything is so simple in the federal courts. And Bob Don too, but put together some very, very fucking simple questions for the federal court. And there's
Yeah.
3 questions, okay? So whether state judges are bound by the Uniform Services Former Spouses Protection Act, it's positive law. That's just one question. The second question is whether state judges are bound by the Judicial Review Act.
Yeah.
And then the third question is simple. Whether the defendants are personally liable, which is the state attorneys and judges, are they personally liable for what the violations are? And those 3 questions are simple. Yes, they are. So how do we get around that? I don't fucking know, but that's the thing, the merry-go-round in the state courts. They keep throwing out all these case laws and this and that. Well, I think you can do it. No, you can't.
Brandon, I would offer to rephrase that last question about the judges, particularly in light of Ray's case, where they decided 4 different times that Ray was right. And the courts keep coming back and saying, no, we're going to change, like a 5-year-old's playing court.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
So
again,
what point are they liable?
They looked at Ray's case. The Supreme Court took it, but you're still in that state court entity, and they go, okay, well, we don't really agree with it. We're going to kick it back to the circuit court. It's still in the state.
That's what I'm talking about. But that's what I'm talking about. It's these children who are playing court, the states, need to be dragged in front of the principal and get some 1970s discipline where the principal breaks out the paddle with the holes drilled in it.
I got that in
Right?
3rd grade, man.
Okay, exactly.
Okay, and like I said earlier, Carson, wrote the amicus for the Howell versus Howell case, which is the law of the land now. And like I said, even with that, the state of Michigan still does not want to follow
That's exactly
the laws
what I'm
that
talking about.
protect us.
Well,
That's
now-
exactly what I'm talking about. At
Until
what
they're
point do
forced
these?
to.
Yes.
The
Exactly.
problem with Howell v. Howell is Howell v. Howell only addressed the indemnification clauses. We're talking about what Brandon mentioned.
That's
is
correct.
The 3 questions posed to the federal court are judges bound by 10 U.S.C. Section 1408, the Former Spouses Protection Act, 38 U.S.C. Section 511, and 38 U.S.C. Section 5301. Those are the 3 questions. They're all positive law, and those are the questions.
Pretty simple.
Those are, in my case, Brandon's case, Derek's case, and others. Those are the 3 questions that we're asking the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and that's what I told the judge when I was defending myself. I told him, that's all I'm asking for is USC Title 385301 to be followed. And he thought I was getting
So
smart
I'm going to
with
put this
it.
up here. I'm going to put this up here. Here's 38 U.S. Code 5301, non-assignability and exempt status of benefits. Again, for those of you out in the crowd, if you want these links, we have them. A lot of you know my email address. You can send it to redonkulas12@gmail.com, or thebattledwarf@pm.me. That's my show email address for the moment till we get some stuff sorted out. All of these laws are up there. They're easily readable. They're usually very short. They're usually very clear. And these judges go, no, that's not what that means. But that's what it says. And you don't write law. You don't get to de-legislate all of these things. Now, before the show, we talked about definitions. Don, can you give us some of that? Well, we got a minute here.
Often, and what happens here, and this is, again, the attorneys are part of the problem, but
yes,
do not refer to your VA disability compensation as pay. It is not remuneration for services. It is not pay. It is not taxable. You do not work for the Veterans Administration. It is not remuneration for services. So it is not pay. You are not exchanging any type of labor for that compensation. It's compensation for your injuries, so you can sustain, so you can pay your rent, pay your mortgage, and take care of your children. And I think everybody here, Steve, Pop, and Brandon, you guys have all seen the letter, the nasty letter I received from Congressman Bergman's office from what's her name,
Yep.
Amelia.
Yeah.
And, what's that guy's name?
Yeah.
Ben Monticello said.
Yeah. Brandon
said
got some stuff like that too. Yep.
VA disability compensation can be used for child support. How do you think it can be used to qualify for loans and not the other thing? And then he said, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, he's confused. The reason we can use it to qualify for loans and mortgages is so that we can prove to these organizations that we have the ability to pay because we're disabled veterans. That is why. And when people say they always throw in there, usually the socialist workers and the attorneys throw this in there and say, what about the kids? Well, if the veteran has no ability to maintain employment, he or she is receiving compensation. If you let him or her use that money to pay his or her bills and feed the children and take care of the children, while the able-bodied person does the same thing, then the children are taken care of. If you take that money away from the veteran and he winds up sleeping in a car or underneath a bridge and ends up taking his life, then you've got the children with one parent. Now ask, what about the children?
Right.
They literally do not care about that. Veterans are nothing but an expended asset. We're not even an expendable asset to them. We are an expended asset.
Right.
They
So when you look
got what they wanted out of us.
Yeah, when you look at the homeless rates for men, okay, there's a large percentage of those dudes are veterans, and this is why they literally take what your VA disability away from you to keep you off the street, and they give it to the kids, and they take their cut and fuck you.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
But one thing, gentlemen, that I'm hearing in all this is it's all the same thing. Every case is unique and different, but the laws are universal and apply to our cases, and that's one thing that we have to do, that we have to stick with. And Joe Shit the Ragman versus Kyle Spencer, yeah, whatever. But the same law applies to everything, and we have to focus in on that and fire for effect on some of these things because they tried to dissuade us. Whether between gold and fool's gold. They look the same to do. That's what they try to do. But the things about it is that what we need to come together with is that like this, and then figuring out how to do this. Like for instance, two things that they always bring up to dismiss your cases: Rooker Feldman and Younger, and those are misapplied all the time to all of our cases, and it cannot be.
Rooker Feldman and Younger.
Rooker, Feldman, and Younger only apply if the judge is working within his or her jurisdiction, and our benefits are not within their jurisdiction.
That's correct, and that is specifically doobie-doobie-doo. Let's see, lack of jurisdiction. If a judge acts in the complete absence of all jurisdiction, immunity may not apply. For example, a judge issuing an order in a case in which they have no legal authority could potentially be sued, although this is rare and narrowly interpreted. However, it applies in that situation.
Yeah. And then you have, like Ray and I are in the same district. Bergman's, he's our guy. He's the guy we go to. And when I wrote him, I had a chance to talk with him. And he was doing 80 miles an hour down the expressway. He really wasn't paying attention to it. He had been with him, Don. And it's alarming. And it's alarming that he had like Amelia, that she can insert her personal opinion working for a congressman about, I can't believe that there's an organization to try to help men get out of child support. That's another thing that everyone needs to understand. No one's trying to get out. It comes with the territory. No one's trying to fucking get out of taking care of our kids. Let's be clear.
We never said it was about men.
Exactly. So my thing is when you have someone like that working for a congressman, how do you combat that? How do you combat that?
First of all, just like a judge, people in federal office or people in elected office, even their staff, have ethics codes. She violated that ethics code. She doesn't have a right to publicly berate you like that.
Yeah.
There are ethics codes that they must be held to. It happens all the time.
Right.
And I'd like to find out about that because she had no business inserting her opinion.
Never.
Yeah.
Not in that
Absolutely correct.
capacity.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to figure out how to fight back against these fucking cuntwads.
I need to start. I need to start a database on all of this stuff. A better database.
The congressman's responsible. If if a Navy captain, if he's asleep in his stateroom and his ship runs aground, he's responsible.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's the one that's going to get fired.
Well, it's the same thing that applies to judges and their thing. There's derelictions of duty that they have. You know, because they have the oath to their office, which is some of the same things that we do when we're swearing in. Yep. And then they have the oath to the Constitution. So when they don't follow either one of those, then that's when you start popping off with these writs of mandamus, motion for show cause. And you play the game a little bit, but you're ultimately setting them up for what it's more than likely going to be an appeal or to the Supreme Court for a motion or writ of certiorari. But you can't just do ones and twosies and threesies. I think I jumped in and I heard 5 veterans don't matter, 5 fathers don't matter. But when you get 500, then that snowballs into 5,000.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
You start flooding them and with all this stuff.
Now they can't ignore us. Yep.
Yeah.
Strength in numbers.
But here's the thing: this is how we get destroyed by the feminists. The cult of the cunt is really good at, showing up in numbers and working together. Dudes, because I've been doing the men's rights thing since I first was getting goat screwed in my cinnamon ring when I was getting divorced. Dudes, there's a whole bunch of infighting and whining and pissing, and we need to get on the same fucking sheet of music and show up in numbers. Because if we could do that, it's actually more terrifying than the chicks. Because the chicks, all they really got is tears. Yeah. We actually
and screaming.
Yeah, we actually defend, build, and support the actual civilization.
I think it's actually going to be quite honest with you, we as men and as veterans, I think it's going to honestly come from us to stand up and say that. And then that way, all these men that, have the balls in the woman's purse are going to finally take them back and say, hey, this guy's doing this. This guy's doing
okay.
this.
Yeah, no, this is already beginning to happen. I saw some of it this summer when I had my 16-year-old nephew. He says the young males are getting really sick of this. I want to clarify something right now, guys. I've done a lot in the psychological warfare field alongside of intelligence when I did that stuff. What Pop just described, what we really have here is an education system that teaches women to stick together and do this feminaziing stuff. Okay, the education system teaches these girls from a young age to do these things to men, and then at the same time, it teaches young boys that they are nothing, they have no manhood, they have no culture, they have no purpose, and they should just shut up.
Yeah.
The education system is teaching boys and girls these things, and that's where you get these men and women, the guys who are afraid to do anything, and the women who know to band together and shriek like a bunch of fucking harpies at the top of their lungs to get their way. That's where this is coming from.
Yeah. I couldn't have said
I've been studying this shit for a fucking while now.
Yeah. Well, that's the two things that you take out. How do you destroy a nation or a group of people? You take out the religion and you take out the men.
Yes.
Yep.
That's exactly correct. Destroy the base, destroy the man. Yep. It looks like Ray has found his way back to us. Ray.
Yeah.
There he is. There you are.
I got cut off.
That's all right.
But yeah, man, it's I've been listening, and it's like the courts, like I say, and until we get these federal judges, because nobody's bringing it to their attention on what's going on in these state courts. And as long as it's still in the state courts, then they're just going to keep doing the circle jerk on us. And
Yeah, you're 110% correct.
Because it's
on
free
that.
money. It's literally free money.
110%.
they're not
That's
going
what
to
it
cut
is.
the hand that
Free
they're not going to cut the hand that feeds them, or bite the hand that feeds them.
Yeah.
We're nothing
That's
but
what it
cash
is.
cows.
It's their cash cow. That's
Yeah.
there's the phrase for it.
I mean, it even goes as far as the sheriff departments are being paid by this money. I mean, and if they don't go and serve these warrants, these bench warrants for individuals that are in alleged arrears or whatever it is, they're going to fucking jail.
It's sad to say, but illegals got more rights than we do.
Yep. You're
In
absolutely
that,
right.
Yes.
in that same sense, and we as veterans should know this, is that we have to be prepared to do that, though. Like me, I'm rolling dirty right now. I'm in the arrears for the past 2 years, so I got like 33,000 in arrears, but I'm not paying that stuff
No, hell no.
until I get my solution to my case, and then I'm going to go after the state of Washington, because right now it's an administrative order, and that's all they threaten to do. Well, go to jail or take it to court. Well, take it to court then. I'll do the same thing there, and I won't pay it there.
Absolutely.
And the minute you step in their courtroom, like I was telling Brandon earlier, they're going to put those bracelets on you.
Yeah, they got me. They got me ready for the 16th, so I know
You don't agree with what they're
the
going
judge
to
wants to
throw
put
at
me
you.
in
They're
jail
going to throw it
over the Christmas. So he wants to put me in jail over Christmas.
Yeah, because they'll make you scared, and then you'll fold. That's what they want.
Yeah,
I
I've
get
already
it.
got 3 in Iraq. I'm not too scared.
Right? Yeah.
So of all of us
Yeah,
on this
that's fucking
panel, have
ridiculous.
we all did jail time? I did 1 day. Brandon did how many days?
They put 45.
45?
45
That was
days.
the first time he threw me in jail. Was 45 days.
Holy fucking shit.
And there's more
Damn
of
it,
us
I'm
out
sorry,
there,
man.
Yeah,
man.
well, remember,
No, I know there are, but wow, 45. I did
it's
not.
crazy.
I avoided it, but my ex and the guy that she was banging, it was a brigade HHD first sergeant. He got onto my computer in my house after having me removed from the house and put in barracks because my ex claimed that I was a threat. And next thing I know, I'm being investigated for child pornography. Well, my DD 214 says in block 24, honorable discharge. If I was guilty of any of that, there wouldn't be an honorable sitting right there.
No, you get ran up the flagpole.
Oh my God, yeah. If I had gone to Leavenworth with child pornography in my jacket, I'd be dead right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
If he had succeeded, I would be dead
Yeah.
because they would have killed me.
I was threatened with jail time back in 5 years ago. My ex-wife took me back to court. Our children, my youngest was already 20 years old, so there was no child support, but there was alimony, and she took me back to court for contempt. Somehow managed to get me in less than 3 months. Usually it takes longer than that to get into court, but they got her in, and the judge threatened me with incarceration. So I had already told the judge that my disability compensation was protected and that I was applying for SSDI, and he didn't seem to care. He threatened me with incarceration, and so I just paid her off. I paid her $25,000 to just go away because that was the balance of the alimony, which she didn't need.
Wow.
But it's just another way to control me and alienate the children.
I was wondering, Don, I was wondering, and I don't know if, Kyle, you might know this too, but are they doing this? Do you find it that they see putting people in jail in these like little Mayberry areas like I'm in Ogemaw County, the rural areas are getting away with this more than the big metropolitan counties like Oakland and Wayne and all of this, or do you think it's the same across the board?
It's the same across the board.
Same
It's
across
the
the
same
doing
across
here.
the board. Yeah. Because Jan Iannucci is in Macomb County. So
Yeah. Well, I'm in Riverside County, California, one of the largest veteran communities in the country, and it happens on a regular basis here. But they expect that none of us have the cojones to stand up for ourselves.
Right.
And
Yeah, so
at the time I
just didn't know what the statistic.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Because think about it, just like in the like when you got NJP or if you got NJP, they take away your food, your money, and your sleep, right? So and those three things change, and they change the Marine or the military member. Well, they're trying to change you by saying, hey, we're going to take away your passport, your driver's license, and jail, and make you change like that. And if you succumb to one of those and you say, oh man, I don't know what to do because nobody else is behind you supporting you, then of course you're going to acquiesce to them. You're going to consent to that stuff because you don't want to lose your job or any of that stuff. So they hold that over you. But once you sit there and you don't live in fear and you say F you, they're like, well, what the hell do we do now? Now we're
okay. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So
if you're like me, I had a security clearance. I went to work as a contractor right after this court date, and I couldn't risk that. So I had that. I had to cave. I couldn't risk incarceration. I lost my clearance.
They took my clearance from me and collapsed my whole world on me.
Yep.
I had a TSSCI with caveats.
Wow.
And they
Those are hard to get.
Yeah, no shit. And they're easy to take. All that first sergeant did was turn it off.
Yeah.
And then
I worked
all the
as
investigation and everything. Yeah.
Look, I worked as S2, and literally to suspend somebody's clearance is like 2 button strokes. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So. And that shut me down. I couldn't apply for anything. And I didn't know. Get this. Pop has the same thing, the same effect in his record. When these guys instigate investigations against you in the military, if CID even cracks a file on your name, you get an arrest record in your FBI file that they don't have to tell you about, and that there's nothing you can do about it, and they say it's administrative.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I didn't know for 10 years that I had an FBI file on me for that investigation.
Steve, I believe Jacob's going to jump back in. His internet's back up. So if you see him popping in,
I think we're getting ready to get near wrap up here. We've been going for almost 90 minutes. How much further do you think we can take this today, meaningfully?
Well, I just wanted to get those the questions for the federal courts out there, and like Kyle was saying, that's the route that I think that needs to go in, because we're just, again, it's a revolving door in these state courts, and they know that. So Bob has some amazing shit on his website. Don has been working with him as well, and I know you put that up, Steve, but that is some serious information from Bob Tarian, and God bless we have him, because he's doing some really good things.
And Spencer there now, he came on board, man. He hit a home run today.
Yeah,
he did.
With what he's doing, Spencer there.
Yeah, Spencer, sure, man.
I'd like to connect with you too, Spencer.
Yeah, that's fine. I got Brandon there too, so I don't want to say I'm locked on and I'm dialed in, but like I said, man, I am not giving up, and I'm definitely not I'm not asking them. I'm telling them what I'm going to do, and they don't like it. So what? So be it. And so it's changed the narrative in my case, and I started slowly winning. But it's like I'm not saying everything works, but I'm catching them.
You're on offense. You're on offense, not defense.
That I'm still fighting.
Hang on, one person talk at a time, please.
But I'm not gonna, man. I tell you what, it's guys like you that keep me alive, along with my kids. Otherwise, I already got that, 9 mil.
Yeah, we all know about the 9 mil headache pill.
Yeah, save the 9 mil for the range, brother. We got you. What happened? Oh, did you freeze?
I froze.
You froze.
It's all right.
Can you hear us? Kyle, can you hear us?
Sorry, I can't hear you guys. But if anything, I'll send all my information to Brandon, and then you guys have my phone number.
Okay.
If you don't, it's 509-481-8918.
Yeah.
Call
I'll
me
pass
anytime.
it along too, Kyle. I'll get
that.
Bob and Don and everybody, get your information and stuff, because that's you got some vast knowledge and appreciate, linking up too, man. It's just it's a fight that's, we all got to take to these bastards.
Something happened here.
I'm not going to stop. So now we get this, my federal lawsuit happens tomorrow. So Merry Christmas.
Yeah, right. No kidding. Oh, Ray just glitched on us. Kyle's glitching. Kyle, are you there yet? No, he's not. Kyle said something early on that made me immediately trust him because it's a level of trust military thing. He mentioned Joe Shit the Ragman.
Yeah.
And if you know, you know. That's an old school Army term that I don't even think they're allowed to use anymore.
It's Joe Shit the Ragbag.
Yeah. Yep.
He used it all the time, still use it today.
Yep. Yeah, he said that. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy knows. We're good. Yeah, it looks like we're dropping like flies here. We lost Ray. We lost Kyle. Let's see here. Ray is there. Ray's back now. Ray, you keep dropping in and out, man.
Yeah, people call me these spam callers, and it kicks me off, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's going on there. Give us those 3 questions for the courts one more time, and I think we're going to wrap this episode. We can do more. I think this worked. I think we can start doing more of these. I think we can start getting more specific on episodes.
Yep. So you're asking me, right, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 3 questions we're asking the Supreme Court is whether or not states are bound by positive law 10 U.S.C. Section 1408, which is the Former Spouses Protection Act, 38 U.S.C. Section 511, and 38 U.S.C. Section 5301. And there's really no answer to that. The answer is yes, they are bound.
Yes.
Right.
We already know that.
Yeah.
But
we need to start pushing back and enforcing that. I think we might have started a little something here. We've got 2 organizations now that separately came to basically the same conclusions and are separately heading toward the same goals and comprised of the same sort of people. And bi-coastal is a good thing now. We've got the Midwest, we've got the Northeast or the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest. Now we need like Florida. We need an organization in like Florida or North Carolina.
Yeah, we're here.
I bet we can find one.
We're here in Michigan in the beat-off state. So
I need to ask a question. I need to ask a question real quick. Are there any congressmen out there that are going to support us with this? John James or any of these guys in Michigan?
Bob and I have traveled to D.C. several times, meet with members of Congress. The last 2 years in a row, we've gone to the Joint House and Senate Veterans Affairs Committees, where these guys grandstand and pat themselves on the back. We've had doors slammed in our face, just like Congressman Bergman, who's a fellow Marine Corps officer, he's a retired
Lieutenant General.
And I was very disappointed in his office. And the other one, who's also a retired Marine Corps officer, is Senator Sullivan in Alaska. And we've gotten their gatekeepers have slammed the doors in our faces. As a matter of fact, Senator Sullivan's office, his representative, her name's Sarah Berkmeyer Bell, she told me it's a states' rights issue. After I presented all the information that you guys have all seen, it's in my Supreme Court case, and they said, no, this is a states' rights issue.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even listen to us. And then I found out she's got a previous life as a socialist worker, so she doesn't object.
A socialist worker. That's so spot on. I'd like to point out that general officers are general officers for a reason, especially in the last 25 to 30 years. The guys who get a star and above on their shoulder boards, they are sycophants, almost invariably. Or they're already communists to start with.
If they tell you that again, that it's a states' rights issue, next time retort back to them, say, if it's a fucking states' rights issue, then why is Title 4D paying for child support to these states?
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. 100%.
They didn't want to give us the time of day. It doesn't matter because you just, oh yeah, we got to go. Here's the state. Take it up with your state. Well, that's the issue.
That's the issue.
They
That's
just,
the
but they
issue.
just, they just try to play stump the chump. That's the thing.
Well,
Is
it's
like,
time to
Well,
fight.
they think we're going to quit. They trained us
Yeah.
not to quit, and then they think we're going to quit. Tell me what's
Yeah.
wrong with this picture.
Yeah, it's so funny too because they like pick a fight with us, and then they get a fight,
Yes.
and now they're surprised they got a fight.
And they're puzzled. Papa and I don't have to be doing this. None of you guys have to be doing this. But we're programmed to, okay, you want to fight? We can do this.
Listen,
All right.
I say this
Let's
all
go.
the time. I say this all the time. You pick a fight with a fighting man, and then all of a sudden you're fucking surprised when you get that fight. You're a fucking moron.
yeah.
Exactly. You literally created us, and now you're surprised.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, I want to thank all of you for showing up. Pop, thanks for the cameo. I think we need to discuss a lot of this in greater detail. Kyle, Spencer, I definitely want to talk to you. Ray, I've got all of your stuff. I got to go through all of that. And Don and Brandon, thanks again for coming on. Really happy. This, I think, worked out pretty well. We're getting some pretty good reactions in the chats here and there. Thanks again. And we will arrange another stream and let you know when that happens. So I'm going to hit the end stream here. If you want to hang around for a second toward the end, we can talk in the green room afterward. But thanks, guys.
All right.
And off we go.